tragic news coming in from Mumbai. Legendary singer Asha Bhosle's daughter Varsha has committed suicide. We have Mahesh Bhatt on the phone line with us. Sir, your thoughts really on this tragic news coming across?
My heart reaches out to Asha ji. The death of a child is perhaps the most devastating incident in any human life, and it's unimaginable how she will cope with this heartbreaking loss. But I think what I've understood from what I've heard from sources right now is that there was perhaps a history of mood disorder, which there was evidence that she had perhaps attempted a failed attempt of suicide was there in the past. And as you know, this points out to a deeper malaise of our society, modern society, is the loneliness, the urban loneliness, which is affliction. And I think this is a week of mental illness, mental health. And I think, in fact, I was yesterday, ironically, at a forum where the doctors and the citizens was talking about spreading awareness about these serious ailments that people are afflicted with. Because this death can perhaps be used as a kind of a lesson for those who are dealing with this problem, that no matter how hard life gets, it's not worth ending it, because there's always another day, there's always a better tomorrow. But I think it is for us as co-travelers to help them negotiate this help.
Mr. Bhatt, understandably, very difficult time for the family as well. You know, there's been speculation about the nature of the relationship, and perhaps a cruel time to ask this, but do you have, any information about the kind of relationship the two shared?
Well, I really don't have any deeper understanding of what is the private life, but only as soon as I heard this, I was also told that this was not the first time that she had tried to end her life. But irrespective of what kind of relationship she shared, the truth is that when a child dies, it devastates, and especially when you are all powerful and completely powerless.
Certainly, Mr. Mahesh Bhatt, thanks very much for joining us with your thoughts on this at this very tragic time for Asha Bhosle and her family. Rashma Shetty also has been tracking the story. She now joins us. Rashma, any additional information that you're picking up at this stage?
Well, we have learned that the police has reached the site, and we'll be shortly listening as to what exactly transpired inside her residence at Pedar Road. But until then, we have learned that she shot herself to death, and this is not the first time. Earlier in 2008 as well, we there were reports of trying to commit suicide, but later it was rubbished by the family, saying that it was just an overdose of certain pills, medication that she had taken. So clearly we are waiting a response from the family, or maybe some kind of confirmation from the police.
Rashma, just stay on for a moment. Mr. Ashok Pandit, filmmaker, also joins us. So very tragic news coming in for the family of Asha Bhosle, your filmmaking community as well. A very tragic time to have lost a child by committing suicide.
Aditya, yeah, you're right. It is a tragedy for the family, and unfortunately, I was a very good friend. She was a very good friend of mine also, and I was a very big fan of her columns. She was a brilliant writer. She was a brilliant reader, and she was a very brilliant child. She was really brilliant, and it's a shock to me also, because I never expected this to happen. And why it has happened? Why did she do this? I'm totally dumbstruck, and her columns, her write-ups were popular all over the world. She had a fantastic intellect within her, and I don't know how to react to this loss, because I kept on reacting with her. We were on the normally on the mails, we used to speak to each other and all that, and a person who had millions of fans, all over the world, as far as her writing is concerned. It is a great loss to the city. It's not only a loss of Asha ji. There's no doubt about it. The family has lost a brilliant child in the house, but we have lost an intelligent writer, an intelligent thinker of the country.
Mr. Pandit, given that she was well known to you, like you put it, can you give us an insight into her personality? We understand that she attempted suicide back in 2008 as well. Were there any issues that she was struggling with?
I could never. Last time also when it happened, to be very honest, I cannot believe this. She never gave this kind of impression, that she had some problems. She never, because her writings were the proof that this woman has no problems,
Hmm.
And she never shared anything. She never shared. Whenever we spoke, she never shared this kind of any kind of problem which will take you to even thinking of that sort. When last time also it happened, in fact I didn't probe into this, or I didn't even ask, I didn't even talk to her about this. Because I didn't want to, unnecessarily talk about negative things.
Sure. Mr. Pandit, thanks very much for joining us. From a perspective of having known Varsha Bhosle a little more closely as well. Lada Gurdain Singh also joins us. Lada, that's the sense that everyone known to her has come out and said that this is indeed shocking. Despite an earlier failed attempt in 2008 to commit suicide, Varsha having shot herself today, it's still coming as a shock because people known to us are saying that she was so well known with her writing and she never really showing any signs of depression or anything.
Absolutely.
We'll try and reconnect with Lada in just a moment. At this stage, this is the information we can break to you at this stage. Varsha Bhosle, the daughter of Asha Bhosle, has committed suicide by shooting herself. The police have reached the residence where this happened, their residence. Let's try and reconnect with Lada again. Lada, you just the point you were making about people known to her not really expecting this to have happened.
Absolutely, Aditya. Nobody had really imagined or expected this thing to happen. And, one would also want to say that while Asha ji did have a very, her family actually had a very good, strong bond and stuff, but one would also want to just add that in recent times that the relationships with Varsha Bhosle had become a little strained, owing to probably because Varsha had, and this is something that we are only getting from unofficial sources close to the family, who are saying that Varsha had started feeling to an extent that maybe she was one of the neglected children of the family. Asha ji was staying with Hemant Bhosle, the eldest son, in Lower Parel, while Varsha stayed at Prabhu Kunj, where you also have Lata Mangeshkar and the other Mangeshkar siblings staying in. But in 2008, when there were reports that there was that she had tried committing suicide, the family had come forward and said that it was an accidental overdose that had happened, and she had not attempted a suicide. And professionally, being a former journalist, there was no sign as such that that could actually make her take such a strong step, because clearly when one has issues in the family, you have to sit back and resolve. So nobody really imagined this to really happen. So it's completely shocking, definitely.
Well, really unfortunate news coming across from Mumbai there. Lada Gurdain Singh, thanks very much for joining us. Inputs really come across from the film industry as well. How this is a really tragic and shocking news coming across for Asha Bhosle and her entire family as well. Prayers with the deceased and the entire family.